We have with us our superstar, international superstar, Dr. Temple Grandin, and I know you have a question, so go right ahead when you're ready, okay?
Well, what would you say to parents who their child has just been diagnosed with autism?
Well, first of all, I have to know the age of the child, because if it's a 3-year-old, I'll have different recommendations than an older child. If it's a 3-year-old, you've got to start getting into early therapy to get speech going and teach skills. And the other thing you got to teach them is turn taking, how to wait and take turns at little games. And then you have a kid that might be older with no speech delay, gets diagnosed on the spectrum because he has no friends. Well, that's the one I'm going to say. Well, there's a lot of famous people like Michelangelo and Thomas Edison and Einstein that were probably autistic. Einstein didn't talk until age 3. Well, that's great that you want to become a social worker. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I want to become an RBT because there's great need for that, and I have autism myself, and I want to help lots of people like me.
Well, that's really good. Don't let it hold you back. One of the things I got to thinking about today, because I just was out and I visited, I got to go to a new lamb plant that just got built. And I was driving back from after visiting that and thinking about some ways to fix some equipment. And I got to thinking about identity. Working in the industry, being a professor, being a scientist, being someone who works on designing things, that comes first. Autism's important, but it's secondary to my career. And having an interesting career has made life, worthwhile for me. A social worker, that needs to come first, and then your experiences with autism can help you help some of your clients. Because autism does some things to me. I have a visual thinking skill that's greater than most people have, which helps me on designing things.
At MacDonald Training Center, our mission is to empower people with disabilities to lead the lives they choose. MTC provides employment training, job placement services, social skills and life enrichments, as well as residential supports primarily in Hillsborough County. MacDonald Training Center's distinguished history spans over 60 years of leadership and advocacy in the movements to educate and employ individuals with disabilities. MTC has proudly placed thousands of people in the workforce and assisted hundreds of employers to diversify their workplaces. MTC has been proudly providing services to individuals with disabilities for over 67 years. J. Clifford MacDonald, who was a parent of a child with a disability, established us in 1953. Mr. MacDonald set the bar high for us. He was a tireless advocate for inclusion in employment. He was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1963 and served as the National Chair for Employment for Vocational Rehabilitation, among his many other accomplishments. We followed his example and over the years developed a variety of residential alternatives for people with disabilities. In the early 2000s, MTC became the first major provider in the state of Florida to transition individuals from group homes to a supported independent living model. Our job training is person-centered, building on customized strengths and abilities. We incorporate evidence-based curriculums designed to teach appropriate social behaviors at work and in the community. We have provided employment services since 1971, which assists and supports people with all disabilities in finding and keeping jobs in the community. In addition, we have a strong business enterprise model that supports the mission. We are proud of our past, as for over 6 decades, MTC has been in the forefront of the movement for people with disabilities living and working independently, leaving sheltered workshops to community-based employment. But today, we strive even higher, training individuals with disabilities for careers, not just a lifetime of entry-level jobs. We see this as a civil rights movement to full inclusion and equity, which brings us to career success, the educational vocational program generously funded by the Able Trust, which we will tell you about today. MTC's goal with career success is to bridge the gap between job seekers with disabilities and available jobs in the community. Career Success is innovative employment training focused on certificate-based technical skills with elevated life skills development, assuring employers that the candidates have the talents and skills needed for employment and the emotional intelligence to navigate an inclusive workplace. The linchpin of career success is elevated educational training, taught by highly qualified subject matter experts that are familiar with the differing learning styles of people with disabilities. Students, many of them on the autism spectrum, have the opportunity to earn globally recognized certificates in the fastest growing employment sectors in Florida, including technology, healthcare and hospitality, and logistics. Through Career Success, MTC supports our clients' dreams of owning their own business and encourages entrepreneurial thinking as the COVID world expands online commerce. Career Success acknowledges that transportation is one of the greatest barriers to employment for many of the people we serve. MTC is piloting a transportation voucher program through this grant funding. Community partnerships are critical, and because of our decades of specialized employment training, many fellow nonprofits have actually reached out to us for assistance as they develop their own workforce programs. Collaborations are essential, especially in this COVID world. We are growing our support services as needed, from online and distance learning for ADT to supported living. With Career Success and every other initiative, we are laser focused on having the voice of the people we serve heard. We have 2 clients on our board of directors as well as 2 parents, in order to always make sure that we do not lose sight of what is truly important. Our A team will be presenting today. Myself, Krista Wright, Project Manager, Professor George Dollar, our Lead Technology Instructor, Christy Newmore, our Clinical Director, Richard Sabo Santos, our Technology Instructor, Carolyn Turner, our Success Coach, and Ellen Hoshwender, our Grant Manager.
Hi, I'm Krista Wright, and I'm the Project Manager of Career Success. And today I want to share with you a little bit about our journey to launching Career Success. It started in 2015 when we began Equality Recycling Solutions. With Equality Recycling Solutions, we really partnered with Sims Recycling Solutions, who they're the world's leader of electronics recycling. And what we wanted to do was create a training opportunity and a pathway to employment at Sims. Doing that by really understanding and modeling what their best practices were. So they allowed us to attend their new hire training, where we could really kind of take in their health and safety policies and procedures and kind of their techniques for disassembling and refurbishing equipment, with the thought being that we would replicate that here at our site and train people in those skills so that they could then, if they so desire, get a job at Sims. With that being said, as we were training, we realized that if we were training people to the standards set forth by Sims, and those standards were derived from their certifications, why not become certified ourselves? So we quickly, with a very generous grant from Bank of America, the Neighborhood Builders Grant, it was a 2-year grant for $250,000. And what we did with that was we became certified in R2, ISO, and OSAS, the same certifications as Sims. With that being said, students were getting the experience to work in an environment that was certified in those standards. And so when they went out and found their jobs in the community, they could then explain that and they could share that on their resume. So with that partnership with Sims, we modeled that with Career Success. We developed partnerships with businesses so that we could replicate those industry expectations, those certified standards, so that students were prepared for what a career in those industries would actually look like. One of the things that we did was we developed a partnership with Moffitt Cancer Center. I'm right now standing in our mock patient room that Moffitt built on our location to combine that with our environmental services course that we have as part of Career Success. So with that partnership, not only did they build the patient room, but they helped cultivate our curriculum for the ES course. Students get the classroom lesson plans of chemical safety, equipment safety, customer service, and then they can apply those lessons that they learned in this patient room so that they can learn and practice on how to do a discharge cleaning, how to clean it from top to bottom, disinfection, sweeping, cleaning the bathrooms and the floors and what that looks like. They also learn how to do a patient room cleaning. So how do you clean a room with a patient in it? How do you provide customer service with a patient? And it's a delicate dance because you still want the patient to feel cared for and looked after, but you also have to go in with an understanding that, you know, the patient probably doesn't have a lot of energy to have these long conversations. So understanding that dynamic for the students is critical. And I always say that if students can go through the course and really master the customer service dynamic of a patient, they can provide customer service anywhere, in an office environment, in a retail environment. I mean, they're set up for success. One of the amazing things about this partnership with Moffitt Cancer Center is graduates of this program, when they leave here and if they choose to get a job at Moffitt Cancer Center, they will actually waive the 6-month work requirement that they have for the Environmental Service Tech 1 position, which is huge because students who've never been employed before, they don't have to worry about that because Moffitt knows that graduates of this course know what it takes to be a successful ES Tech 1. And they believe in this program and they believe in the training because they were a part of it. They partnered with us to bring it to life. So it's partnerships like Moffitt, and we have those relationships with other businesses and our other courses with logistics, with technology. And so what it is it provides these students with the classroom exercises, but then it leads them to success on the employment side. We're setting up these partnerships so that the transition is smooth and the students are prepared and they're ready to go out there and get their dream career and find their own family within their new work. Okay, so now with that being said, I'm actually going to hand it off to you, Professor Dollar.
Hello, my name is George Dollar. I joined the MacDonald Training Center a little over 2 years ago. When I met with the leadership team, we discussed what we wanted to do in terms of training the clients here at the MacDonald Training Center to have skills that would prepare them for the jobs of tomorrow that they want, as opposed to maybe the jobs that traditionally people with disabilities have been put into. So as we began to think about it, we thought about what could we do that would give our clients that extra edge. And we came across this thought, and this is a thought that keeps running over in my mind, and that is the fact that if we can give them a nationally recognized certification, that allows them to have more than just a piece of paper that says, I completed this program or I completed this training. So we started to look for certifications that would be nationally recognized. And as one organization keeps mentioning, that going into this century, it's what you can do that is valuable, more so than maybe a degree and something of that nature. Well, I've taught college for 20 years, computers and business, so I understand the value of a degree in education, but I also understand that if an individual cannot perform and be productive, then they're not going to be valuable to the organization. So what we focused on is the skills that can be validated by a nationally recognized certification. So we began to answer these questions. Do we want a certification? And the more we discussed it, it was yes, we do. Because that certification validates the fact that they have skills. All they have to do then is find their right match and their right niche in an organization. Also, it gives them a little bit of a head start, maybe over others that come in with no experience or training. And you can see even maybe the credibility when they're reviewing resumes, to see that nationally recognized certification from MSSC or from Microsoft Corporation gets their resume put into a little different stack and gives them another opportunity. So our idea is to look at what types of certifications would be a good match, not only for the organizations that are out there, but also for our clients. And so the path to certification really started by looking at what do organizations want. Part of my job as a full-time academic for a while was placing students in internships, which gave me the opportunity to interact with HR people and with those that are in the hiring role. And one of the things they kept mentioning, came up over and over again, was that individuals coming into our organization need to be able to interact. They need that communication skills. So we need to teach them to interact and be sociable and be able to communicate. Secondly, they need that baseline knowledge of technology. They need to know how to create files, save files, interact with others electronically, set up meetings, share documents, all of the things that are required inside of an organization. And then this other one that keeps coming up in the soft skills world is teamwork, being able to collaborate. So we looked at what can we do to provide these different trainings to our clients to prepare them for the businesses out there. And then we looked at our own clients and said, all right, how do we form a match between what organizations need, the certifications that we want to offer, and a certain level of skills. So we learned in the process what level of math skills would be nice to have, what level of reading and English skills, as well as, of course, the communications and typing and documents that require somebody to know the way around the keyboard. And then the last part was what certifications are going to be readily recognized. And as you look at the list here, you may not be familiar with MSSC. The Manufacturing Standards Skill Council was started by the Department of Labor years ago for an employment and training division. They, in 2008, documented all their training in 2 different trainings. First of all, the Certified Logistics. Secondly, the CLT. They also do training in production technology and also in forklift training, those that we did not choose to pursue. Also, the word Microsoft. Everybody recognizes that organization. So we believe that if our students could work to achieve a Microsoft Office Specialist certification, an IC3, which is Computing Fundamentals, and a Microsoft Technical Associate certification, they would have a standard from a nationally recognized organization that anybody that looked at it would say, wow, this is a Microsoft certification. Krista and Richard will say more about ISA and IC3, but these are the ones that we selected to offer to our clients to ready them for the market. So in this preparation, we started with a pilot program. We wanted to see just what we could do and what worked. So we did 2 pilots. One was a summer camp where we brought in high school students and we tried a number of different types of technology training. One was programming. We used the programming language Python to teach them some basic programming to see how that would work. We did some training in video presentations as well as other presentations along with the Office application suite. And then in addition to that, we did a 2-month pilot with our own clients. Now we didn't have any prerequisites, we didn't have any typing speed requirements, reading literacy, or math level skills requirement. We just brought in anybody who was interested. And we did that as a learning process to see what types of individuals would work best in that program. And then we began to identify the equipment. So we kind of got a feel for what we could do. And then we said, okay, we need to have teaching materials. This wonderful smart board here with the interactive ability to bring out different points and to highlight different things and to interact with individuals either over the network or on their computers or on the smart board was one of the things that made for a great teaching tool. We also needed to have the hardware, the computers. We needed to have the applications, such as Office 2016, the full professional suite. And then we needed some software that wasn't just the application, the productivity software, but we needed the software that would help to train them. Here's a task, complete it, let me evaluate how well you did it. And there are some good market training software out there as well. So this smart board, the computers, up-to-date computers, the applications, and the training. But then we came to the realization, as most nonprofits do, that we need to find those that believe in our vision. And so then we sought the support for funding not only the instructors that go along with this, but also the hardware and the software. This is where we appreciate so much the role of Able Trust and others who believed in our vision and were willing to partner with us in this vision. And then the last resource was a resource of finding the right individuals. I felt very comfortable in this role because I taught computers at the college level for 20 years. But we needed someone who had a very good background in hardware, and you'll get to meet Richard later on. And then we needed someone who actually had taken the MTA certification in order to be a certified instructor. You don't get to be an authorized Microsoft training and testing site if you don't have the right resources. Subject matter experts, people who've worked in the field, people like myself who put together networks for a time of period and then taught about it in school, and Richard who's had experience in clearing hard drives and taking computers apart and salvaging the good parts and building new computers. So we had to meet the requirements of the standards organizations in order for them to move forward and give us the ability to not only train people here, but also to test them. So after we got through the preliminary, we then sought funding. And Able Trust was one of those organizations that stepped up beside us to help fund this program to bring certifications to individuals so they could have opportunities in the market. The big three categories you can see here is the dealing with the software and hardware, and that's the technology component, the Microsoft Office Specialist, the Technical Assistant, and the IC3, all technology that we're able to train. And then the logistics. Today, the supply chain is such a critical part of every organization, especially as the industry has ballooned, so to speak, with COVID. Now that people are getting items delivered, it's more important that they be registered at to be delivered to the warehouse, then they go to the proper distribution center, and then they either go directly to the customer or to some retail outlet. CLA, CLT are the certifications for moving the product from the manufacturer to the ultimate consumer so that it arrives on time, in the proper quantity that they ordered, and in a good condition so it's not broken or damaged and it can be used. And then the third one, which Krista will elaborate on, is the environmental services, the need to learn how to properly clean and sanitize areas, which today is once again a bigger need than ever. So these are the big three programs that we're focusing on, and we have been focusing on for over a year now, and Able Trust has been a big supporter of that. So we got the funding, we got the resources, we set up the lab. You can see here we're in it right now. They named it Excel, Excellence in Computer Education and Learning. And you'll notice that the actual certifications that the students receive says Microsoft Office Specialist, and it's signed by Satya Nadella, who is the current chairman of Microsoft Corporation. It's not from MTC, it's not something that we've put together. And in order to meet this and pass this certification, the students had to learn a very broad and somewhat in-depth knowledge of how to work in Word, how to do mail merges, how to do watermarks, how to do formatting, how to do newsletters and flyers, all the things that companies would like them to be able to do when they go in. In addition to that, working with graphs, working with spreadsheets. They have a whole, 3 months on Excel, Microsoft Excel, working with formulas and functions. So we felt very good that if they could gain the skills, they would achieve an actual certification from Microsoft. And we're pleased to say that 6 to 8 students have completed this, many with all 4 certifications in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook, some with just certifications in other areas. But this has provided us the opportunity to give them that skill and that document to take with them. The second aspect is, as I mentioned, the certified logistics. CLA and CLT are under the auspices of the Manufacturing Skills Council organization. And we would begin to look in our own area here for organizations that could come in and help us with the training. We found that there were hardly any. I think there's only 2 approved testing sites in the whole Tampa Bay area. So we thought, you know what? While we may not want to go through all the the work and the effort and the documentation to get our organization to be a certified testing and training center. It certainly made it better for our students to be able to train here and also to get their certified testing here. We have a small warehouse in the back as well as a fulfillment center, so it provides a great opportunity for them. They can first of all go through the CLA, which is the Certified Logistics Associate, and once they've passed that, if they want to go to the next level, they can go to the Certified Logistics Technician level, which gives them even a better credential going into an organization to work. The thing that we realized also as we begin to get in these programs is other organizations that were working with individuals with disabilities were looking for training programs as well. So we began to reach out and partner with other organizations. One that we've been partnering with now for over a year is a local chapter of the Feeding America organization called Feeding Tampa Bay. They started a training program called Fresh Force, and since we are a certified logistics training and testing center, we have been able to support them in training groups of people who have found barriers to employment to help them get some skills and go out and find employment. We've also done a project with the Lighthouse for the Blind, where they've been able to complete the IC3 training, which involves identifying parts of the hardware, it identifies installing and operating systems, and their clients have actually been able to complete and pass the IC3. When you meet Richard later on, he'll explain more about that program to you. And then Krista will mention more about the Moffitt Center program, but it's been a great partnership that we've had with a local center for treating people with cancer to actually come in and build a mock-up of a classroom, of a hospital room, and then allow us to take our certified instructors, our ISA certified instructors, and teach environmental cleaning and the proper way to prep a room for the next individual that might be occupying it. So we've been able to help others, organizations, based on the fact that we've achieved the standing of being a certified teaching and testing center. We also have other trainings that we work with here for those organizations that need to train individuals in some hands-on skills. We do e-recycling here, or we dismantle a computer or some other type of electronic device. We salvage the parts we can, the rest goes to scrap metal to be recycled. So all of this is part of a training program that we offer to other organizations. We've done all this to help our clients, and Able Trust has partnered with us, so we feel that it is helpful for us to partner with others. So if we've covered anything in here that would be helpful to you, in this day that we're in, most of this is being done virtually. I am teaching students on the Microsoft Office certifications virtually through the internet and over the smartboard. Other training is being done virtually. So if we can be of any help to you in supporting a program or helping you start a program or doing training for you, Krista's information is here, and she will be speaking along with Richard next. And so I'll conclude my part and pass it on to Krista and Richard.
Hi again. So I'm here with Richard Salvo-Santos. He's our technology instructor. He teaches our IC3 Digital Literacy course. The IC3 Digital Literacy course really introduces students to the critical elements of technology today and prepares them for how to be successful in a career where they're having to depend on computers, smartphones, any tech devices in their work. So the course itself is comprised of 3 components. So you have computing fundamentals, and that takes you into the relationship between the different hardware components and the different software programs that are available. Then you have key applications, and that introduces students to different spreadsheet programs, word processing applications, and how you can use those as a resource for whether it's in your work environment or your school environment. And then the last is living online, and that really introduces students to how to use the internet as a resource. how you can work with social media in a professional capacity, whether it's LinkedIn, or on a social capacity and connecting with friends and family. But I'm going to turn it over to Richard because he's the master of the IC3 course and he knows this better than anyone.
Hi everyone, like Krista mentioned, the IC3 certification is a stackable certification that comes with 3 parts. The first part is going to be the computer fundamentals, the second part is going to be the key application, and the final part is going to be living online. The combination of these 3 certifications is what's going to make a full certification IC3. The first certification we like to cover many of the computer hardware components, peripherals, hardware devices, mobile devices, computer parts. We cover a lot of topics that will make the student a technician. Troubleshooting, hardware checking, all the tests necessary. So when they're walking out from this room, they know how to perform, how to fix, how to troubleshoot, and how to communicate effectively. The second part of the IC3, whenever they pass the first certification, the computer fundamentals, we're going to jump into the key application. Within the key application, we're going to cover Microsoft Suite, Office, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all those applications that are required nowadays in the business environment. They will learn how to use them, know the parts, they will know how to implement and how to communicate the results through reports and implement that in their life. The third component of the IC3, which is the living online, like Krista mentioned, is going to be dedicated to know all the technologies that I use nowadays for social media and how to implement those in a good way. Should I just communicate with these people? Should I not communicate? Should I just log in into Facebook, reset the passwords, use the passwords? It tells you what you need to know, how to be secure in the new digital environment. And after that, we have something called Equality Solution, which is a real company.
Yep.
And we make sure the student has the real skills, real hands-on training, so that way they can actually work with customers through our e-store or through our store, which is the MacDonaldCenter.org. You can check it out.
Yep.
Again, the students are going to be the ones fixing the equipment and keeping up to the standards.
Yep.
We do the sanitation the right way, the right methods with the right tools.
Yeah.
And the student will know how to use them and how to apply that to their life. So that way they take the skills from here. Because it's not just by knowing, it's implementing what you know.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back to Krista.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think that's the real differentiating factor when it comes to the IC3 course, is that students are getting that classroom experience, so they're learning all of these lessons and preparing for that exam, but at the same time, they're getting that on-the-job training so that they can actually apply these skills and these knowledges and understand how it works in a real career within IT. So when they walk away from this course, they're walking away with a certification that validates that knowledge that they have, and then they're walking away with those skills that they've practiced and honed in on that have been added to their resume because they've done the job. And so it just prepares them for those expectations in a career in IT. So with that being said, we're going to hand it over to Alan now.
Hello everyone, I'm Ellen Hochschwender, Grant Manager for MacDonald Training Center. As our team developed Career Success, this new programming, we realized the need to add gravitas and credibility to the venture. We wanted to unequivocally distinguish this training from the outdated perception of MTC as a traditional sheltered workshop. Over the past 10 years, MTC has been moving away from the sheltered workshop model, which was successful for over 50 years in preparing people with varying abilities for employment, primarily in entry-level jobs. The innovative Career Success is a quantum leap forward, grounded in current best practice models. With this new training and emphasis on education and social and emotional learning, MTC students of all abilities are positioned for success in a diverse workplace, empowered to break the cycle of poverty and to achieve full employment in meaningful careers, earning competitive salaries. Licensure from the Florida Department of Education is a key element of this powerful paradigm shift to pioneer globally recognized, industry-certified education programs for people with disabilities. licensure elevates and validates MTC's standing as a post-secondary educational institution and opens opportunities for grants and contracts with public and private funders and partners. Getting a license or becoming an accredited educational institution is not easy. It is a detailed, time-consuming, document-rich process reflecting MTC's 60 years of history as a provider of vocational skills training. Faculty matters most, and that is the hardest to find. The highly credentialed subject matter experts with the talents and abilities to teach people of all abilities and learning styles. To obtain a license to operate as a post-secondary institution in the state of Florida, whether you're planning to offer degrees, diplomas, or certificate programs, an organization must first submit an application to the Florida Commission for Independent Education, a process which takes between 4 months to a year. It involves considerable cost and extensive documentation of faculty education and qualifications, policies from admissions to tuition refunds, curricula, facilities, organizational and financial capacity, and much more. The review process, site visits, and reporting requirements are even more stringent than those of the Able Trust. A few statistics will give you an idea of the scope and significance of licensure from the Florida Department of Education. A total of 936 post-secondary institutions serving 180,000 students throughout the state are currently licensed, from the largest state universities to the more than 500 non-degree schools like MTC focused on vocational education and certification. MTC will be one of the nearly 2,500 applications processed by the Florida Department of Education each year. Following licensure, MTC will pursue accreditation by the Accrediting Council for Continuing Education and Training, or ACET, another rigorous and demanding process. ACET is listed by the U.S. Department of Education as a respected and credentialed agency entrusted to measure and ensure educational standards of quality. The MTC team has committed extraordinary energy and creativity to the design and development of this programming. We're happy to support the team and to discuss licensing and accreditation with anyone who might be interested in the process. We must acknowledge the help and guidance we received from ARC Broward when we began dipping our toes into these waters, and we are happy to extend this assistance to other organizations. Thank you, and now turning over to Christy.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Jenkins. I am the Career Success Coach, and I help the students as they matriculate through the programs from training to employment. So my role here is to help the students with their skills, the skills that they have learned in class, and help them now take those skills that they have acquired here and now put them into placement, which is really, really great. We've been very successful with doing that as well. Love working with my students. I'm actually standing at one of our electronic boards where we have an avatar, where we actually do the mock interviewing. I help them with Dress for Success. I also work with our other teams because sometimes they have barriers. And so I help them overcome those barriers like assisted living, or getting them their transportation vouchers. Most importantly, I build relationship with our employers. I help our students match their skills with the employer needs. So it's a win-win for everyone. As a matter of fact, one of our employers could not be here today, so he sent a letter and on his behalf, I'm going to read it. To my colleagues at the Able Trust, it is my pleasure to write to the Able Trust in support of MacDonald Training Center. Stream Recycling Solutions specializes in IT assets and electronic recycling and regeneration with a commitment to protecting the environment and data security for its customers around the globe. MTC is an outstanding, one-of-a-kind partner that has proven vital to the solid growth of our Tampa electronic waste facility. The communications and training they provide for their students demonstrate a depth of understanding and care that I have yet to see matched by another career placement provider. I'm so proud of that myself. Many of our employees have learned sign language from our new colleague. We sent one of our students that is hearing impaired. And so he, as a result, he says in the letter, has challenged and enriched their own lives. Our employee told me that he spent the weekend with his young son, watching ASL videos on YouTube, both learning a new way to communicate. I hope I don't get teary-eyed reading this. MacDonald Training Center has given a voice to so many in our community who may have otherwise gone unheard. And Stream Recycling Solutions is excited and proud that these students have chosen to become part of our work family. Please accept this recommendation for continued support from the Able Trust for MTC's job training and certification programs for our neighbors with varying abilities. Your investment is helping to eliminate barriers to employment for MTC students seeking personal and financial independence. Thank you for your leadership. What an awesome letter, and thank you so much. Now, I'm going to turn this over to Christy.
Hi, I'm Christine Demore. I'm the Clinical Director at MacDonald Training Center. My master's is in special education and I'm a board certified behavior analyst. My background is in the classroom setting and I have experience with one-on-one behavior therapy. The last 2 years I have found a home at MacDonald Training Center and I'm thrilled to be a part of our team. As an educator, you always see and hope for your clients' independence, to be an active participant in the community, and to have fulfilling employment or a fulfilling day of enrichment and participation in the community. As the clinical director at MacDonald Training Center, I work closely with our certification instructors to monitor where our clients are finding success and where they're the most roadblocks. And together with our team, we've created individualized responses and support plans for each of our clients. Over the last 2 years, we've been able to analyze our program's data to help us address and focus on the criteria that is needed for a baseline assessment for applicants into our certification programs. It was definitely a process to refine our assessments because we wanted to set up our clients for success, assuring that the level of skills needed for foundational reading comprehension and math application skills would be there to help them engage in the content and successfully gain certification with Microsoft Office Specialist certifications, IC3, CLA, CLT. Making sure clients gain those content-specific materials is thrilling. And seeing their social skills blossom during this process is even more rewarding. Our soft skills curriculum has a huge focus on communication and self-advocacy skills. Pre-COVID, we would incorporate technology to aid in navigating workplace collaboration skills. But since March of 2020, we've truly pivoted in our daily virtual soft skills class to embrace and really see the longevity of remote workplace skills. Last spring, our clients made the transition to navigating virtual meetings and accessing work content in our online dashboard remotely, but since then, they've quickly picked up new skill after new skill. Collaborating with online concept boards, accessing shared folders with collaborative documentation, tracking each other's changes, hosting virtual meetings and presenting in them, creating websites with templates and adding to their online portfolio, creating online surveys, analyzing their data. To see the growth and use of the skills that are right here at their fingertips, it's exciting. Our students wanted to share their thoughts with you, and I'm happy to share these observations, which we recorded earlier in class. Okay. Hello from MacDonald Training Center. I'm Christina Moore. I'm the clinical director here at MTC, and I'm joined by 3 fabulous individuals, AJ, Aaron, and Matt. Guys, I would love for you to share today about our MOS and our IC3 certificate programs and why you chose this training in your path to employment. So IC3 is the digital literacy certificate, and that certifies you both in hardware and software, and it's a foundational step in a career in IT. And then the MOS is the Microsoft Office Specialist certification, and that certifies you as an expert in the Microsoft suite, so you have fluency and skills to excel in a variety of office jobs. So, Aaron, you are working on the Microsoft Office certification, and you're almost done with all 4 certifications. So why did you choose this training, or what are you learning and hope it will help you in the future with?
Well, that's a good question. You see, I'm learning technical skills for the big world out there. Makes me nervous, and I thought the skills here at MTC would help me out. I'm also learning more about how to get a job.
Well, fabulous. We're excited for your path to employment. And you're doing a fabulous job. 1 more certification. You're almost there. Thank you for sharing. AJ, I would love to hear from you.
So IC3 basically goes over basic computer skills and advanced computer skills, as you kind of said, with software and hardware. There's both 2 different sides. Right now, I am on the first step of hardware, and I'm closely going to hopefully take the test here soon for the hardware, for the first part of the IC3 certification. And basically, it teaches you how to put a computer together from the ground up, and how to install Windows, how to put different programs in, how to spot viruses and different threats on your computer. And hopefully this program will eventually give me a job in a major company or a small company.
No, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for sharing, because it's true. What I'm seeing you guys learning and exploring your classes is absolutely phenomenal. And then Matt, you are our newest member, but you have dove in there and you seem so eager. So why did you choose MTC, or why did this program stand out to you?
Well, I heard it last time.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to try something new.
Try something new? I love it. So trying something new, and what type of career or field are you interested in?
Anything that has to do with technology.
Yeah, technology is exciting. There's so many different options. So thank you guys so much for joining me and sharing a little bit about the programs in our technical field at Microsoft. Office Specialist and the IC3 through MacDonald Training Center. Thank you guys so much, and I will talk to everyone later.
All right, have a good day.
And I want to take a moment for you to meet one of these fabulous clients, Erin. She's pursuing her MOS certifications to help her reach her employment goals. Hello, Erin. Thank you for joining us. Could you share with our audience what certifications you are working towards and how that will support your future employment goals?
Well, I'm working on being certified in Excel. As you can see, I'm already certified in Microsoft Outlook and PowerPoint. With these technical skills, I will need them for my monogram business. That way when I'm doing it on technology, I'll remember the skills I learned from MTC and use them for my business.
I love that. And I love that I can see behind you, you have your Microsoft Office Specialist certifications and a beautiful piece of your embroidery work. So before the pandemic hit, MTC was really working on growing our entrepreneur small business incubator, where we were helping first-time entrepreneurs pursue their goals. And we were working with Ellie and her business Brady's Biscuits, where she earned a respect grant. And then from there, we helped her take business classes, helped her launch a website, and work on her production on an online scale to be able to sell throughout the state of Florida. We're excited to see that grow. And now, Erin, you are a budding entrepreneur as well. Can you tell us a little bit about the most recent opportunities and the scholarship you won and what you hope to do with it?
Well, with the scholarship grant I got from the scholarship, I'm going to use this money to buy the materials I need for my embroidery business. That way I can use them to earn money.
I love it. And we're excited to get you started once you finish the Microsoft Office Specialist certifications with a business course, so that you can work in using those skills for finance and for organizing production and being able to produce the beautiful pieces that you produce, both by hand and by machine, and then be able to sell it to a larger population. So we're excited to see your business grow. And thank you so much for this opportunity and sharing a little bit about you.
Thank you for having me.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
I'm going to now turn the program over to Phyllis Guffman, publisher of Disability Resource Hub and Bright Feets magazine. As many of you know already, Phyllis is an amazing advocate for people with disabilities. She is also a marketing and social media superstar. In addition to all of her other responsibilities, Phyllis is teaching a groundbreaking digital marketing class at MTC. This is a wonderful way for us to collaborate and observe many of the social and workforce development skills we are teaching. We're able to monitor both emotional intelligence and workplace navigational skills as the students work in teams to create social media campaigns for the advertisers in Bright Feets. We're so grateful for this partnership with Disability Resource Hub and Bright Feets, which Phyllis will explain in further detail. Phyllis?
MacDonald Training Center transforms lives through innovative vocational training and employment pathways. Their technology program provides services, supports, and opportunities with the aim of enhancing skills that will prepare individuals with disabilities to succeed in the workplace and post-secondary educational settings. The MacDonald Training Center Excellence in Computer Education and Learning program is a pre-employment vocational education for young adults with disabilities, primarily on the autism spectrum. Preparing students for employment in high-demand technical industries or any setting where computer skills are required. VIP Works is the Bright Feets Disability Resource Hub employment training program. Partnering with MacDonald Training Center allows us to work with Excel participants. They actually learn and do the work of Disability Resource Hub and Bright Feets publications, including digital marketing, social media, formatting the directory details into our print magazines, creating video promotions and email marketing, and much more. It takes a team to make VIP Works a success. Our Tampa partner, MacDonald Training Center, provides their location, on-site administration and training staff, vocational rehabilitation connections, equipment such as computer and supplies, but most importantly, they share our dedication to the program and our mission to provide meaningful employment training opportunities to individuals with unique abilities. We deeply appreciate MacDonald Training Center for helping us at Disability Resource Hub to turn capabilities into careers.